Many of us are looking for soul mates, but a lot of us are ending up with soul ties. That's why it's very important not to sleep around with people, man, because some people, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to be very clear, and I hope that y'all don't think I'm crazy because it's very true. A lot of people are running around and you're sleeping with these demonic people. You think about Mary Magdalene in the Bible, right? The Bible says that she had 7 demons out, right? Can you imagine if anybody walked up to her and wanted to be intimate with her, and they were intimate with her and they encountered 7 demons, right? And then you go around and you sleep with this person and this person transfers 7 demons into you. If a person can have 7 demons in them, they can easily have 24, 14, however many demons in them. But we go around and we sleep around with people, man, and we never count the cost, because a lot of these people that we do sleep with have slept with many other people and they're carrying way more than 7 demons. And then so many of us meet people who have had so many partners, and we don't think about the fact that they had so many partners. How many soul ties did this person have in him? How many demonic ties? That's why you got to be very careful looking for your soulmate, that you don't go around sleeping with everybody, because you will end up not with a soulmate, but with a soul tie. And a lot of times it's going to be a demonic soul tie. And once you pick up that demonic soul tie, I'm telling you, it's at a whole different level. It's going to be hard as HELL to get rid of that.
I do feel like when we have sex with people, we can get their negative karma, and we can exchange energies. Even when you walk into a room, just a general room in the public, right? You can sense things. You can sense energy. You can sense your friends if they're in a bad mood or something. You can sense when someone's going through depression, or if you can sense different vibrational frequencies, right? So like especially in the context of sexual connection, I think that energy exchange is more intense, and it's can be much more emotionally involved. I think there's hormonal and biochemical things that can also happen. There's all these factors that contribute to how people can exchange energy and things like this, particularly in the context of a sexual interaction. And I personally feel that we're kind of taught, especially I think we're conditioned culturally, that like sex is just like, oh, whatever, just bang a whole bunch of people, and and if you're a dude, you're a stub muffin. I mean, of course, women get vilified for doing that, for being like sluts or whatever, but dudes can just be like skank home nasties for real. Like they can just be like, oh, boink skeet, boink boom skeet. I just made a Kraftwerk song out of it. Boink boom skeet, boink boom skeet. I mean, that's what I'm just saying. Like dudes are just, some dudes are on that hoe shit hard. People, especially my last boyfriend, I really kind of experienced it, where you pick up people's negative karma, dude, and you can form really unfortunate soul ties with people, and negative connections. Like it was so bad. It was so hard separating from my last boyfriend, and he was still stalk harassing me only like a few months ago, right? Like, it's like I had to file a restraining order against the dude. It's like he was stalk harassing me from like another country, okay? I had to contact his girlfriend and all this shit. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes these soul ties are freaking hard to fucking break, bro. And like all the demons I got from him, emotional, physical, like just all this shit from him, that like it took me like 3 years of recovery, trying to get all these demons out of me, like off me energetically. And dude, like he's probably still some psycho nut. I don't even know, dude. Like, so it's like you have to be really discerning, like who you exchange energy with. And it was like that relationship was really toxic for me, because it was like I did genuinely love this person, and I don't even know if they just, a lot of times with manipulators, they emotionally manipulate people, that's their whole MO, right? So it could have just been a strategic tactic on his part, but I felt emotional connection, and like I felt like open to him, and there'd be times that we would have like a lot of fun. It would be like really blissful, like just energetically, it could be so blissful, and you'd get like open, and like your hormones and oxytocin like open up, and then all of a sudden the bitch would go on drink and go on some self-destructive rampage and come back and be some violent, abusive, verbally and physically douchebag. And so like you're like in this open, vulnerable state, intimate with someone, and then they just come in and just like and call you names and insult you and just damage your property, fucking insult, make threats and all this stuff. It was so neurologically and psychologically nerve-wracking and damaging. Like it took me like mofo years to recover.
So you want to make sure, man, that you just don't go around messing around with anybody. You want to know their past. You want to know their history. You want to be with somebody, man, who's been celibate for a while, because you want to make sure they got all the demonic stuff about them before you even consider touching that person. I don't even understand in this day and age why people still go around sleeping around, man, with all these people. That was back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but we know better now. So I'm telling y'all to be very careful when you're looking for your soulmate, because you're going to end up sleeping with one of these demons that take back something home that you didn't expect. Be careful.
Amen to this message.
But I do feel like just even culturally, we just see it in movies all the time. Like just people just, like I just watched this show called Sirens the other day, like it's on Netflix or something, and like one of the main characters just like, is like traveling to see her sister, and like she just gives a blowjob to a random dude on the ferry when she was trying to get over to her sister's. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I'm like, dude, just to put some random dude's dick in your mouth? Like, and the movies portray this kind of stuff. Like, it's just like, hey, whatever. Like, dude, hell no. I'm just saying, you don't know what kind of ST demons this mofo has. You're just gonna go give him a blowjob and dude, like, but movies portray this kind of, and we all remember Sex in the City. I'm just saying, I mean, it was a fun show to watch, but dude, just like chicks were just boink skeet, dudes throughout all of New York City. I'm just saying. And I think it makes for fun entertainment, to watch it, but I just don't think it translates in real life. I mean, I just really don't. And I do think that it can affect you like in ways that you don't expect. Again, just my opinion. So now I'm using this filter because it's called Cosmic, and it's kind of like got like the stars and space behind me. Cosmic. Because I'm kind of going into woo-woo territory here. I mean, a little bit with some of these other clips I'm going to be presenting. This clip is from Princella Queenmaker. Interesting food for thought. And in this clip, she's talking about kind of the vulnerability women experience with lack of awareness about how men roll. I mean, I find her content interesting. This is from a different lens of more of like kind of biochemical influence that men can provide. And she's kind of saying that like our natural state as women wouldn't be so submissive to dudes, but because of all the social conditioning and patriarchal structures set up, women have let themselves be more vulnerable to perhaps a subset of men that would not normally, under just natural conditions, without all these social constructs, we would want to have anything to do with, which I thought was kind of interesting. I'm like, oh snap, okay.
Okay, because you've heard the saying, mind over matter, right? Yep. So that means if you tap into the mind space, you have the ability to control the body. But you got to be able to tap into the mind space. The problem is women don't have the knowledge to even tap into the mind space to control their emotions. They have no earthly idea that the emotions that they feel actually come from seminal fluid. They don't understand how strong seminal fluid is and how it physiologically changes their body and their mentality.
What is that you're saying, seminal fluid? Explain that.
Seminal fluid, okay, so you have two parts of ejaculation. You got the semen and then you got the sperm. The sperm is what fertilizes the egg. And that's only like 5% of seminal fluid. The other semen, this is a whole chemical concoction that actually comes from the male's brain down his spine. And this actually alters women's physiology, right? And it brings down their DNA defenses, right? Which makes them more emotional. And it also triggers, every time a male has sex with a woman, it triggers that oxytocin to come out. By women not understanding the nature and the biology of a man, if they understood that and tapped into the mind space, they could control more of how they respond to men. But because they don't know that, they are totally subjected to the physiological changes that happen when they come in contact with seminal fluid.
This is an interesting perspective. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the case, like, you know, because there's all these biochemical things that happen, even just internally in our vaginas. Because, like, when we have sex, it's built, the whole purpose of it really is for the potential of procreation, right? And then even the environment of the vagina is much more acidic. But if there's sperm in there, like, there has to be, usually it's a hostile environment for sperm, but there's some things that happen in the female anatomy that have to allow the sperm to be allowed to exist in even that environment, right? And so even so that it can get to the point where it can even impregnate the egg, right? You know, so there's all these biochemical things that happen, and also too, because that was one thing I learned the hard way, pun intended. Okay, that, like, there's a whole biochemical aspect for women more so, I think. You know, dudes maybe not so much. I don't know. Sometimes I think dudes can get emotionally bonded, but women, we know that we're going to be the one having to, if sex results in pregnancy, we have to carry the baby. We're responsible for that. We're responsible for the whole setup around raising and nurturing this kid, and finding the right, you know, the kind of creating the right environment around that. And I think some of the innate bonding things that happen are because of that women go through, because it's biochemical, because, like, there's a whole biological component that I was not even aware of. I started bonding with these mofos that were literally not compatible partners in any way.
If a man, as in the course of a woman, he's breaking down her barriers.
Yes.
But that's taking the natural order of things.
No, it's not a natural order thing.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not, right? This is something that the woman would have to allow under natural circumstances. Remove patriarchy, remove all of the laws, law enforcement, remove propaganda.
Social conditioning.
All of the music and everything. Under natural circumstances, the majority of women would reject the majority of males, and the majority of males would have money, status, or fame, or any of that. And so now you would be totally dependent upon your genetic viability, and the majority of males would not make it. And if you bring this up to a higher level humanistic way of thinking, even if you look at the top male, right? That male would get the privilege of being around the majority of women, and the weak male who couldn't elevate, who couldn't show that he was mentally powerful, disciplined, he would fail.
Well, and also too, I mean, you get these top men, quote unquote. I mean, look at like these celebrities that, like, rape people, like Cosby. Look at P. Diddy. Highly accomplished, successful millionaire, but he would clearly horrible freaking partner, dude. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, even if you get these high status, kind of rollers, you know, I don't know, like, what do you call them, like high status dudes, that doesn't make, there's no guarantee that's going to make a compatible good partner. A lot of times they're just skank hoping nasties themselves. I mean, look what P. Diddy made his partners do. All these weird freak offs and just weird sex shit. Dude, I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes status isn't necessarily, money and status are not necessarily good indicators of a highly suitable or compatible partner. I'm just saying. I mean, in my opinion, it's more just like a dude that just, they have his shit together, stable, makes money. They don't have to be some kind of like celebrity or some shit, you know, just dude that like takes care of his business, is a good provider, isn't like an abuser, you know, or some, you know, or controller or addiction problems. But dude, I mean, we can see the state of dudes today. And again, I do think a lot of alpha qualities can be taught and learned if people are willing and open. I'm just saying. And usually that's why a lot of times military experience can be good for dudes, because it gives them a sense of discipline, self-control. I don't know. Like I don't know. But then you can get a dude that had to go into battle and has PTSD and becomes some psycho nut job. I mean, everyone knows to avoid cops. I'm just saying, as far as like dating, because those mofos have PTSD. Sometimes they're ex-military for one, and then crazy ass shit that they run into day in and day out. I mean, I don't know, like statistically, I mean, I'm sure there's some really solid, nice cop dudes out there, but I'm just saying, most people are just like avoid certain, because they have too much trauma. I'm just saying, but whatever.
He wouldn't make it, right? And that's just the reality of it. And what's happening right now is that the population is overloaded, the grid is overloaded, and a lot of males who were supported by patriarchy when they gave men women are getting their rights now. And the artificial mechanisms are falling, and a lot of these dudes who were given things ain't giving it no more, and they can't function in a competitive environment. They don't know how to do it, and they're upset. They're mad because they feel entitled to jobs. They feel entitled to promotion. They feel entitled to sex. They feel entitled to family. But men ain't supposed to be given nothing. The male's ultimate nature and job is survival of the fittest. He either survives or he dies. Too many people are trying to protect the male from his ultimate nature. Sink or swim.
Please speak about the spiritual dangers of having numerous sexual partners.
Okay. People don't recognize how sacred sex is. They tend to think it's just something that you do when you come of age, and it's enjoyable and it's for having children. It's a lot more than that. And so we have lost Western civilization. I always refer to it as they have lost the true meaning of what the sexual union is. It is a sacred union between the masculine and the feminine principle in order for both to achieve levels of spiritual enlightenment. So that has now been removed. That's a knowledge that has been removed. So we're just basically just operating on the base levels of enjoyment and sensual attachment. Now, when you have sexual intercourse with another person, there is an exchange that surpasses mental, emotional, and physical. That exchange is difficult to quantify, but consider this. If you are in my field, my physical proximity to me, you are going to now be in my auric or energy field, and I in yours. There is going to be a mixing of our energy fields. Our energy fields don't only consist of vibrations, but they also consist of intelligence. They consist of trauma. they consist of emotions, and they consist of karma. So when we mix with someone, we literally are taking on their energetic field. We're taking on their karmic. And when I say karmic, I'm talking about ancestral, I'm talking about lineage, thousands of years of energy. And I'm also talking about ancestral. I hesitate to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's a reality in the spiritual realm. There are ancestral curses that stay with people. They don't know that they're having them. You know, in Jamaica, we'll say, boy, that person's sad. No, it's because they have a lot of heavy karma from their family lineage. It can be cleansed if people are aware of it.
It's like you have to be aware of your guys' generational trauma and intentional about trying to resolve it, you know? Because no one's perfect, everyone's got issues, like, and I think just the more you can acknowledge it and not defer it or like blame shift.
Because when there is intercourse, there's also a soul tie. So this is why breaking up is so difficult, it's traumatic, it's emotional, because it wasn't just a friendship or a relationship or a sexual interaction. It was actually a soul tie. And so it takes a bit of undoing. The recommendation, therefore, is that you minimize the number of partners just to preserve your energy field.
I agree with this 100%, dude. Like, and again, takes a minute to recover. You gotta keep working on this shit. Like, and dude, like, I had so much post-traumatic stress from my last relationship when my ex was stalk harassing me, like with emails, phone calls, voice messages. Like, I literally was having nightmares. I would have nightmares where he would be breaking in to my apartment and shit and like trying to attack me. And I would wake up like, oh, like that. Like, I mean, because I was so psychologically traumatized by the violence and kind of aggressive, hostile, like vindictive shit that he was dropping off. Like, and so it was that behavior, even though he was 3,000 miles away, was still bringing back like trauma that, like, you know. And so that's why it's like that kind of stuff, it takes a minute for it to, you to progress, and also I have to be careful not to project the dysfunction, because I didn't have dysfunctional relationships before that, and I don't want to project that onto any future relationships either, which happens a lot with people. So that's again another way of exercising the demons. Like, you don't want to blame anyone after that for the mistakes that the dynamic that you had with your life. You know what I'm saying? And people can do that, right? I want to have a healthy relationship, like, because I realize how important it is to just, make sure you trust your instincts, get to know someone. Mofos are just hooking up online and just jumping on mofos' dicks, left and right, or just whatever, just some person they don't even know, like with this whole hookup culture. To me, that's insane, okay? And people are just like, oh, la-di-da, whatever. It's like they treat it like as if it's a handshake or something. I'm like, what? Yeah, no, I'm messing around with filters here. So this filter, this one in the corner here, like the one over there, that filter on the corner, that's what I look like after 5 years rolling with this mofo. Like my last boyfriend. Stressed the fuck out. I started looking jacked the fuck up. Okay? I started looking messed up. There's all like, and this one is like, okay, more like, okay, look here, my skin's cleared out, and of course I don't have red hair.
We do not talk enough about how the wrong man will make you ugly. And you might be wondering, how does this random girlie on the internet know this? That's because it happened to me, babes. It happened to me. Jump scare warning. That doesn't even look like me. Who is that? Like, who is that with the fried hair, the acne, the moon face? My teeth literally shifted. I had to get Invisalign after this relationship. Again, this doesn't even look like me. My face is so swollen. Obviously, my hair was fried off because I was bleaching it. My eyes are puffy. My nose was puffy. Also, at this time, I had the worst TMJ. Like, my health was declining. My skin was declining. You could just see that I just wasn't healthy. For reference, this is me now. Look at what 2 years of being single has done to my skin and my hair and my complexion. The wrong man will make you ugly.
It's all fun and games until they ruin both your physical health and your mental health. Being with the wrong person will cause you to be stressed, which releases cortisol, which does all sorts of things to wreak havoc on your body and on your face, including acne and also weight gain. Being with the wrong person will also cost you your mental health. This person may try to isolate you from your family and from your friends, which will cause increased
That happened to me.
They don't bring peace into your life.
Nope,
which causes
no peace.
Stress and anxiety. Those things lead to you getting less sleep, which of course is also
Had many nights like that.
It's called beauty rest for a reason. The person will also cause changes to your appetite from that.
Gain 40
which
pounds.
means that you're not eating properly.
My girlfriend becomes a stick. She loses all the weight.
We make jokes about bad relationships, women being stigmatized and stuff like that, but it's a lot more serious than you think, and your health is not worth it.
Here's what does this lady say?
That man is making you ugly. I hate to be the one to tell you, but if it's getting to the point that you're getting acne, if you're getting cortisol face, if your hair is falling out, perhaps he is not the best for you or the way that you look.
I've spoken about energy exchange in a video I made not too long. I spoke about how some men are energy vampires. Probably I didn't use this word this way, but what I'm trying to say is this, that some men come into your life and they drain your energy. And having some certain men in your life or being in a toxic situation with some certain men can drain your energy and lower your energy level. It's advisable for us to continually be on higher energy level, have higher vibration, because once you start having lower vibrational level, lower frequency, your body is going to have a negative effect on your body. You might fall into the disease state. You might.
That's so true. I've just seen it, and I ask any woman, I've just seen it happen. You know, be careful out there, folks. Just be discerning. I'm just giving you food for thought.